Imagine a world without power, a world plunged into perpetual darkness. Picture the lights going out and never coming back on. Not for a day, not for a week, but forever. This might sound like the stuff of dystopian novels, but the possibility is very real. A catastrophic event like an electromagnetic pulse attack or a devastating cyber attack on our power grid could send us back to the dark ages in an instant. Now let's talk numbers. According to the latest studies, a staggering 92% of the world's population would perish within the first year of a total power outage. Only 4% would make it past the second year, but why such a grim forecast? Well, our modern society is like a house of cards built on the fragile foundation of electricity. From our communication infrastructure, water supply, food preservation to healthcare, transportation, and even education, everything hinges on power. Our power grid as it stands is aging, overused, and barely holding together. The US government warns that in the event of a major outage, it could take well over 50 years to restore power. That's potentially 50 years of darkness. So if you're determined to be among the 4% who survive, it's time to start preparing to live without power. Because in a world gone dark, the key to survival doesn't lie in hoping for the best, but in preparing for the worst. The first major hurdle in a world without power will be the loss of digital communication. Think about it. No internet, no cell phones, no television. The digital lifelines we've become so reliant upon would vanish, leaving us in an isolating silence. But there's no need to despair. The human spirit is resourceful and resilient. There are alternatives. In the absence of digital networks, we turn to the airwaves. CB radios and ham radios become invaluable tools, providing a means of communicating over vast distances. For local communication, we can resort to simple code systems. Flags or lights used in a particular sequence or pattern can convey messages to those in the know. This may seem archaic, but remember these methods have been used for centuries, long before the advent of smartphones. Communication is key to survival, and it's essential to have a plan in place when digital methods fail. Without power, our water supply systems will cease to function. But let's delve deeper into this. The water that flows from our taps is pumped and treated using electricity. When power disappears, the pumps stop, and the water stops flowing. Therefore, a world without power is a world where clean, drinkable water becomes a scarce, precious commodity. You may think that bottled water can last you a while, but what happens when that runs out? You'll need to turn to natural sources like rainwater. But rainwater is not always safe to drink directly. Therefore, learning how to collect, purify, and store rainwater becomes vital. You can collect rainwater using simple tools like barrels or buckets. Purification can be done using methods such as boiling, chemical treatment, or filtering. Storing the purified water properly is also crucial to avoid contamination. Remember, water is life. Without it, survival is impossible. With power gone, so too goes our ability to store and transport food. Picture this. Refrigerators and freezers become useless, leading to the spoilage of perishable goods. Supermarkets, reliant on refrigeration and just-in-time delivery systems, would rapidly empty out. Therefore, food scarcity could become a grim reality faster than we might think. But it's not all doom and gloom. Humans have preserved food long before electricity was discovered. Canning, smoking, drying, pickling, and fermenting are age-old techniques that can be employed to keep food edible for extended periods. And what about sourcing food? Well, self-reliance is key here. Think about starting a home garden, raising poultry or rabbits, or even foraging for wild edibles. Cultivating these skills not only provides you with a sustainable source of nourishment, but also gives you valuable trading commodities in a post-electric world. Remember, food is fuel for survival. Learning to preserve and produce it is crucial. Without power, our healthcare system will crumble. In such a reality, hospitals and pharmacies, the lifelines of our society, would be hit hard. Imagine a world where emergency services halt, surgeries become impossible, and the cold chain required for preserving essential medications breaks down. But therein lies the challenge and the opportunity for survival. It's about returning to the basics. The first step is building a supply of essential medications. Stockpile what you can, but remember, many medications have a limited shelf life. Therefore, it's crucial to understand their storage needs and expiration dates. Then consider the power of Mother Nature. Herbal remedies have been around for thousands of years. Learning to identify, grow, and use medicinal plants can be a lifesaver. Many common ailments can be treated with the right knowledge of herbal medicine. In a powerless world, your health becomes your responsibility. Health is wealth in a world without power. Without power, our transportation systems will grind to a halt. Imagine a world where fuel pumps stand idle, traffic lights blink off, and cars become nothing more than scrap metal. The lack of electricity will make refueling vehicles nearly impossible, leading to a dramatic decline in vehicular transport. But, as they say, necessity is the mother of invention. Therefore, we must embrace alternative transportation methods. Bicycles, for instance, don't require any fuel and offer a reliable means of getting around. They might be slower, but they're sure to get you to your destination. Horses, too, can be an excellent option, provided you have the means to care for them. They're sturdy, reliable, and can cover great distances. For short distances, walking becomes the most sensible choice. It's time to dust off those hiking boots and get used to the idea of a slower pace of life. In a world without power, mobility is survival. In a powerless world, heating and cooling our homes becomes a major survival challenge. Picture this. Winter creeps in, the mercury dips below freezing, but there's no central heating to keep you warm. Or imagine a sweltering summer without the relief of air conditioning. We've become so reliant on these comforts, but what happens when they're gone? Consider well-insulated homes using passive solar principles. These principles harness the sun's energy during the day, storing it to radiate heat during the night. Simple design tweaks like positioning windows to face the sun can make a world of difference. Moreover, think about earth-sheltered homes. These are built into the ground, taking advantage of the Earth's natural insulation. It's like living in a modern cave, and it can help maintain a stable temperature year-round, regardless of the weather outside. Shelter is a basic human need, and knowing how to maintain a comfortable temperature is crucial. Without power, our education systems will be disrupted. Schools and universities rely heavily on electricity to facilitate learning. Everything from digital textbooks to online courses would become obsolete. However, the human race has thrived for thousands of years without electricity, and we can do so again. We must explore strategies for maintaining education in a world without power. Books will become invaluable, providing vital knowledge from agriculture to zoology. Practical skills training, from carpentry to farming, will become essential, equipping individuals with the hands-on abilities to survive and rebuild society. Oral knowledge transfer, a tradition as old as humanity itself, will regain its importance. Grandparents will share stories with their grandchildren, passing down vital survival skills and the wisdom of their experiences. In a world without power, we'll return to the basics of education. We'll learn from books, from practical experiences, and from each other. Education is the key to adapting and surviving in a world without power. In a world without power, our economic systems will collapse. The digital transactions we're so accustomed to will become impossible. Credit card swipes, online purchases, electronic transfers, all will cease to function. In this new reality, we'll have to revert to an ancient form of commerce, bartering and trading goods directly. Just imagine, a bag of rice might become more valuable than a stack of unused dollar bills. And it's not just about food and water, skills will become a currency too. Can you fix a bicycle or sew a torn piece of clothing? These abilities could be your ticket to survival. Community cooperatives could become the new norm, with goods and services exchanged locally. Think of it as a return to our roots, to a time when people produced and traded their own goods. In this dark future, we need to be ready to adapt. In a world without power, trade is survival. Without power, our security systems will fail. This is a chilling reality we may have to face in a world plunged into darkness. The absence of electricity means the collapse of our security infrastructure as we know it. Alarm systems, surveillance cameras, electronic locks, all rendered useless. But it's not just about the loss of these security measures. Imagine a world where law enforcement struggles to operate effectively without power. The decrease in their capacity to maintain order could lead to an increase in criminal activity. Now, that's a scary thought. However, there's no need to panic. Instead, let's focus on what we can do to secure our homes and communities in a powerless world. First, we must remember that security starts at home. Reinforce your doors and windows and consider installing manual locks and bolts. Clear sight lines from your home to the street can also deter potential intruders. Next, let's think about community. In a world without power, your neighbors aren't just the folks next door. They're your first line of defense. Establishing a neighborhood watch can be an effective deterrent against crime. And finally, consider communication. Develop a system of signals or codes with your neighbors to alert each other to danger. This could be as simple as hanging a certain color cloth outside your home. Remember, security isn't just about keeping the bad guys out, it's about ensuring the survival of your family and community. Security is survival in a world without power. In a world gone dark, the key to survival is preparation and adaptability. We've delved into the stark reality of a powerless world, exploring the collapse of communication, the disruption of water supplies, and the inevitable food famine. We've discussed the hurdles in healthcare, the challenges in transportation, and the need for insulation to manage heating and cooling. We've also touched upon the disruption in education, the shifts in economy as we return to a barter system, and the increase in security concerns. Each point underscores the importance of being prepared, of being adaptable. Survival in a world without power is not just about stockpiling resources, it's about learning new skills, about fostering community relationships, about adapting to a new way of life. It's a daunting scenario, but with preparation, it's a challenge we can overcome. Remember, the time to prepare is now before it's too late.